Well, today is going to be a very interesting day. And actually fits in with a lot of things I've been talking about lately, about innovation and criticism and, posting things online and exposing my thoughts and life online to people who I don't know. It's kind of scary in some sense, although that's online. And the people who comment, most of them are anonymous. And I don't have to really care what they think. Hopefully other people find my thoughts useful and good in some way. Whether they would want to live like I do or not is irrelevant. But they can compare, my thoughts to how they live their life. And it's useful, I hope. In this case, for the first time this year, although the year is new, it's late January sometime, I'm going to have some visitors who are going to visit here in my forest at my home. And I've been chatting with them online, and they're in a city nearby for a conference of people who I probably share some ideas with, but that doesn't mean that I'm comfortable with them being in my home or judging me, which I guess, what do I care if people judge me? Well, it's one thing online, but when they're in your home, suddenly they've been let into your inner sanctum, and they have this special power to make judgments based on their magical understanding of who you are. And that's a little bit hard because my life is so very different from normal people's lives. And so kind of by definition, a normal person would look around at my life and say, wow, what a fucked up person. I mean, I've got garbage laying around my house, and there's people who come here. There's kind of two people. Let's just divide everybody into two people just for fun, okay? Which is ridiculous. There's kind of people who come here, they look at it and they say, wow, it's amazing what you've created, and you have so much great opportunity, and that's true. I have done really well at doing something that most people would never do, probably wouldn't want to do, and couldn't do. I mean, I suppose anybody could do anything if they really wanted to, but it's been, over 20 years of extreme shit, and a lot of shit that I can't talk about. I mean, mostly it's been fun and a lot of loneliness, a lot of lonely years as well, and, massive injury and some small injuries, and hosting people from all over the world I don't know, which is something I stopped doing. So this is a notable day. Last year I had one guy come for a 3-hour visit. And actually I think he came twice to visit. He brought a bottle of wine and we chatted. Really nice guy, really cool dude, older guy. And I suppose in a sense a friend, because I consider him that. I don't know if he considers me that, but anyway, these two I don't know in person. We have web chatted. We share some philosophies, but they could easily walk around here. I mean, look at this fucking mess. There's a bucket right there, old garbage can, some more buckets, an old sign, a bag of sunflower seeds for some reason. I think that was out there for birds. It's just junk all over. Everything's disorganized. I need to machete my trails. I mean, my list of shit to do is immense. And so for anyone visiting, certain of them, the ones who aren't impressed, can look around and be like, well, I would do all these things with it. And I know better than this dumbass. And this guy's just a massive fuck up. And it's like, that's the kind of person that exists in the world, and they probably are the kind of people you know. And they'll say that about your life unless you're a really boring, normal person and do exactly what that person tells you to do, or your culture says to do. And it's like, I don't really want to know that kind of person. But these people could be those kind of people. And I can appreciate that to some degree. Although on the other hand, because like if I go to a place, which I've done, I could look around and say, oh, well, that could be different, but really it's an annoying behavior. In fact, I don't do that. And I also don't put on a false face where I'm constantly judging them. But I present this happy face of like, oh yeah, that's really great. And then later on, I'm going to just slam them and rip them to shreds and stuff. And it's like, no, you got to have empathy for where people are at. I mean, I know what's happened over the last 20 years. I know my own values, which are not the same as a lot of people's values. And so I'm not going to do what they want me to do. So it's like, it's not like I'm a failure if I'm not doing what other people demand that I do with my own resources, and they don't have the fucking experience, you know. And of course, there's people who are just self-serving and want you to turn your resources over to them. Otherwise, you're a control freak. I've been called a control freak because I want to control my own life and space and lifestyle, and I don't want to be part of your fucking civilization, for the most part. And you probably don't either. If you're watching my videos, you probably also, I hope, are a person who's critical of the way civilization and culture are. You see that it's a prison for us in various ways. And unfortunately, some of you have come up with your magic solution that everyone else must follow. But, you know, have some humility. I don't think anyone else should be doing what I'm doing. I hope some people do. I hope that people live off the grid. I hope that people look at how much they consume and look at where value comes in their life and how they serve other people. I have things I would like to promote, and that's what we're doing right now. But let's not be assholes and say everybody has to follow my magic solution that I know is right. No. You know, be for actual diversity. Not everybody needs the same thing, even within their own lifetime, in their own lifespan. Your needs and desires may change. In fact, how could they not? I mean, when you go from being 4 years old to being 84 years old, you're going to have some changes right there, I would assume. Anyway, so I'm scared. I'm going to go meet them in town because their car is not going to make it on this road here. They could have driven in on a different road that would be far, but they have a rental car, and I don't want their rental car scraped up and banged up. And this is just easier, and they say they like to walk. So it's a very pleasant walk through the forest. We'll find out if they really like to walk or not. A lot of people say that things they want, but they don't always match up in reality with what they actually want. Like, you know, the whole living off grid thing people have, the dream that they have, often is a fantasy that doesn't match up with the reality. Although the truth is there's many different ways to live off the grid, and you could even do it in ways that are not even energy sustainable or efficient and don't fit with my values at all. Like if you've got 30,000 watts of solar panels and big huge battery banks, and you're using all the normal devices of everything, and you're basically living the same life. The fact that you're off the grid is a trivial difference. But I have a lot of other values that I lump in with my lifestyle, and that's actually an interesting thing, because some people try and say, well, you're not off the grid unless you do it this way. And it's like, well, all it means is you're off the electrical grid. It doesn't mean you're any of these other things you're trying to demand that a person be. You know? Am I really not off the grid because I have Starlink? I guess I fear going into this, their judgment, and not just judgment to my face, but they're going to go to this conference and they're going to say things about me because I am known as a person. I mean, I put myself out there, and they could say very damaging, untrue things. I don't really mind that much if they say things that are true. But still, I mean, isn't it rude to go into someone's home and then use that to spread gossip and even lies? So in this sense, I care whether they like me or not. And that's annoying to have to care about. I mean, who cares? It's not like these people are very likely to be residents here. One of them isn't looking to move to the area. The other one is going to move somewhere, but probably doesn't want to live the life that they're about to see. And so they could judge, well, I don't want to live like that, therefore that guy is living bad. And it's like, well, no. I mean, I hope she is not that kind of judgmental person. But instead she would be like, oh, well, that guy does this thing his way, and it's not for me. Great. I don't see that in any way as bad. That's something we want to identify up front. In fact, in talking with people who want to come here, the first thing to do is to find deal breakers. And there's a whole bunch of them. And that gets into thoughts on exclusivity and inclusivity and all kinds of stuff, and compatibility and what values we live by. And those don't all have to be the same, but there are some base ones that we must share. You know, we must respect and protect the space. We must treat each other well. We have to make the place financially profitable. We should be giving, good people, you know, in various ways. And some of the people they're about to go meet are land scammers. They're specifically going to try and rip people off. And a lot of people go into that thing